What's up, everybody? This is another episode of the It's an episode of the PokerNews podcast, number 494. My name is Sarah Herring, joined by my co-host, Jeff Platt. What is up, Jeff?
Sarah, I'm excited. It's like the summer poker season is, just about here. I think we made it.
I know, and I hear you be playing all this poker. I'm trying to schedule things with you, but you're all like almost making final tables. What's happening in Vegas already? It's not even WSOP is going down.
Yeah, I think the key word there, Sarah, is almost making final tables. But the Venetian went ahead and got started with their championship deep stack series. They're going strong for 2.5 months over at the Venetian with multiple tournaments every single day. So like I said, it seems like the summer grind has started, and we have the World Series of Poker next week, and that's when all the other poker rooms get started as well. So we are in for a lot of poker action in Las Vegas, Nevada.
And you're doing the WPT this weekend, right? Something with that?
We've got the WPT Bobby Baldwin Classic and the Tournament of Champions coming up this weekend. So I'll be there. We'll be hanging out at the final table. We'll do a little media luncheon, some wining and dining with the World Poker Tour. It's going to be a good time. And it's at Sarah, the Esports Arena at the Luxor here in Vegas.
Yeah,
so
I almost just went and worked there. That thing is huge. They're building like 50 esports arenas in Vegas, and I'm like, well, good thing I just left because I think it's popping off. And the nights, right? Vegas is like at a scene all of a sudden.
The nights are going hand. This city is wild. Everywhere you go, everybody's wearing the Knights hats, the Knights shirts. And then, like you mentioned, the esports arenas are popping up all over the place. We can dive into your massive set of video game knowledge at a later date.
You guys, just pump the brakes. I don't want to freak out our audience. I don't want I don't want to go over their heads here. It looked like everything was great. In fact, one of my very closest and best friends, Lynn Gilmatton, had her roast this week. I was supposed to go to that, but of course I'm like a million miles away now, but it looked like it was fun. I feel like Vegas was just waiting for me to leave before it was just gonna explode. But I guess that's what happens every summer. In case you guys didn't notice, for those of you who are listening and not watching, I have on some Boss B shades. I'm telling you right now. I be looking like all kinds of classy. In fact, I gave some to my husband, my father-in-law. Everybody loves these shades. Everybody's wearing them. We're all looking very cool, which I appreciate because sometimes my husband wears these sunglasses that I like to call his gym teacher sunglasses. They're terrible. But now he's sporting these Spades sunshades. For some stylish and affordable sunglasses, check out Spades sunshades. Whenever I say it, it sounds really funny. Let me try this. Okay. Check out our Spades sunshades. It's like a tongue twister.
Yeah.
Their new summer sunglasses are out now with a wide variety of colors and polarized lenses starting at only $20. Support the poker industry and add some style to your game by visiting spadessunshades.com and use the promo code PokerNews at checkout for free shipping. Now, I'm not going to lie. I'm all about this summer collection, the variety of colors. I got these yellow on. Yellow and orange are my favorite colors. In case for those who aren't watching, you can't tell they are. And we've got tangerine, that's what I'm calling it. We've got yellow. We've got clear yellow. Honestly, guys, I'm all about the summer collection, but I am having a hard time seeing anything except for my lights and my lenses. So I'm gonna go
and we can see your lights.
Reveal it. Now you guys know what's going on behind the scenes. But yeah, definitely check out the Spades sunshades. $20 too. You can't.
Sweet.
That's reasonable, I think. That's reasonable.
Yeah, I would say so. In today's world, to get a set of polarized sunglasses also.
Yeah.
Whew,
and I need that. I'm on that macular degeneration train, so I got to be careful. All right, so Jeff went ahead and put together this outline. He's been paying attention in the midst of all of his actual poker playing this week. He's been paying attention to everything going on. Obviously, I think the biggest news that's been coming out of PokerNews.com for the last couple weeks has been the Triton Super High Roller Series in Montenegro. It was basically just the sickest bosses in poker, everybody that you want to see, everybody that you don't see, some really just high level thinkers and people who are, just not as easily accessible all the time. They were all there. I'm talking, Phil Ivey, Patrick Antonious, Tom Dwan, Dan Cates. And so needless to say, the news has been full of them. And then also they sort of released this short deck poker, which is they were running a bunch of tournaments in this format. And Jeff, you kind of like told the audience last week, like, give us a little lowdown on your understanding of short deck, and then we can also talk a little bit about how the players reacted.
Yeah, sure. So in its simplest form, short deck Hold'em creates more action because what it does is it takes the deuces, the threes, the fours, and the fives out of the deck. So those low cards, all those trash hands are just gone. They're out of there. It becomes a 36 card deck, and it creates such an interesting dynamic because, Sarah, we hear so much nowadays about how No Limit Texas Hold'em is being solved. You have all this software, these solvers. Nobody has that yet for short deck Hold'em. So this is still a game that's in its infancy, and people are still trying to figure it out. There are also a couple of different rules as far as the hand rankings are concerned. So 3 of a kind beats a straight. A flush beats a full house. So that's another interesting dynamic that's worked its way into the mix. So we assumed that the interest in this started because it created so much action by just having 36 cards instead of 52. And it's expanded from cash game form to tournament form as well. So last week when we talked, we were talking about all these high roller tournaments. Maybe a couple would start to include the short deck variants, and that is what we're seeing. In fact, in Triton, the high roller short deck tournament had 103 entries. That's at a $127,000 entry fee. 103 entries compared to their normal No Limit Texas Hold'em main event, which had 63 entries. So the prize pool for the short deck tournament blew away the main event prize pool with the exact same entry fee. That shows you, Sarah, just how big short deck is getting.
Man, it's like these players, it's the same. I mean, I guess they like to gamble. Yeah, everyone likes to gamble. I think it's interesting because I was watching some of the coverage from Laura Cornelius. I sent Laura over there to cover. And so there's been a lot of, I guess, back and forth. Some players are super stoked on it. Some players are like, this is it. But I think what seems to be the general consensus from what I can gather is that, of course, players are always going to love Hold'em. Of course, players are always going to be, have that real traditional, love of this traditional No Limit Hold'em game, but that also this is something that they're looking to, I guess, add to their arsenal. Daniel Cates was saying some things, in fact, actually, that he prefers the regular, which surprises me because I feel like he's a guy who likes a challenge, if you will. Yeah,
and you feel like he's all about the action. There was, it wasn't just short deck over at the Triton Super High Roller Series. They played some massive cash games. So we had these huge tournaments and these huge buy-ins that we all talked about. And then Triton was like, we'll put on Twitch. How about 2K, 4K blinds? Dude. No Limit Texas Hold'em. And that drew interest from everybody. Their views were off the charts, and we're able to see the biggest cash game pot that's ever been televised or streamed. Just a massive pot between Jason Koon and Kane Callis.
Give us the lowdown, dude. What went down? Well, and also, I'm poor. Help me.
I'm going to run through the hand history just super quick.
Yeah.
So again, we're at 2K, 4K blinds and a 1K ante, so the stakes are pretty high already. Jason Koon raises with ace queen to 11,000 small blind calls. Kane Callis has pocket tens in the big blind, makes it 55,000 euros.
No big
Jason
deal.
Koon comes back at him, makes it 120,000 euros. This is all pre-flop. 120,000 euros.
We're not talking Hong Kong dollars here, folks.
We're talking. No.
What?
This is unbelievable. I mean, that's basically the entry fee to that high roller tournament that we were just talking about. So Koon makes it 120. Callis calls. Again, Callis has pocket tens. Koon has ace queen.
Both of which are like relatively speculative hands. I feel like in this spot, it's really interesting that it's exploding like this, right?
Right.
Either one could give up at any point there. Okay.
That's exactly right. And I'm glad you mentioned that because after a 5-3-6 flop, pretty safe for pocket tens, Kane checks, Koon bets, 128,000 euros. And Kane went deep into the tank. That's what you're talking about, Sarah. I mean, the pot is just so inflated already. Does tens look that strong? Looks pretty good on a 6-3-5 board. It's going to be very difficult to fold, especially against a player like Jason Koon, whose range might be a little wider.
But so that's it. It's like, what's the range you're putting him on when you call their pre-flop with your tens? If you're gonna like be unsure when it's when it's.
That's a great point. You can't just call to hopefully flop a 10.
Right.
So on a 6-3-5 flop, probably going to have to call.
Yeah.
That's what Callis did, and it's a good thing he did, Sarah, because the turn card was the magical 10 of clubs, which gave Kane top set. So now he's feeling pretty good. On the flop, he's like, well, I have to call with tens, of course, on this flop. On the turn, he's feeling good, and he checks again to Mr. Koon with just ace queen.
Koon's he's just like, do I have to keep barreling here? I have to. There's so much in here.
He does, and he does barrel once again, this time for 160,000 euros.
Oh my God.
Callis is obviously not going to go away this time, and he just calls.
Yeah.
He's just setting the trap. So there's 840,000 euros in the pot before the river. And that river, unfortunately for Jason Koon, is the ace of diamonds.
Oh my gosh. So there's no way he's in it now.
Right? He's in
like,
it now.
Yay, I got it. I got there.
He's like, oh, good. Phew.
Yeah.
I'm there. I'm good. This is a massive pot, but it's mine. And Kane Callis checks again with his set of tens. Jason Koon probably thinking he's value betting at this point, that his hand is good at this point.
Yeah, but that's so interesting. We have to get Jason
all his
on.
Chips.
All of them.
All of them. All of his chips, about 500,000 euros. I think Kane's going to call with his set of tens. And that's what he did. So he called, and he wins a pot of more than 1.8 million euros, equivalent to a little more than $2 million. How about that for a hand?
Oh my gosh. And after Jason just won the short deck tournament, he is like struggling. He like pulled through.
Major props to Jason Koon, because he takes that hit. He loses that 2 million euro pot and he ends the day still in the black. He rallied after being down about €1 million. He rallied to, again, get back into the black. And then, like you mentioned, Sarah, he shipped the short deck tournament for almost 3.6 million US.
Wow.
So I think he still had an unbelievable week despite losing the biggest pot in televised and streamed history.
This is so wild, though, because it's interesting. Like you mentioned, okay, so maybe he's betting for value there on the river, thinking he might be betting for value. Yeah. But then it's also like, what is he putting Kane on in this spot? Like he's got to be putting Kane, right? Probably on like a pocket pair.
Yeah. That's true. I mean,
so once he hits the ace, he just thinks he must have like kings or queens or jacks or.
Right. It'd be very reasonable the way Kane played it pre-flop, on the flop, on the turn for him to have a hand like jacks, maybe queens. And when that ace comes, maybe he just thought he could get a call from Kane if he did have one of those hands, right, because Kane knows that Koon has to bet when the ace comes on that river. I don't know, though. It's hard to dive into the mind of the player as good as Jason Koon, because he's like 18 levels above the discussion that we're having
I know.
Right now.
We got to get him on. Actually, I was thinking about that yesterday and I forgot to reach out to him, but we'll reach out to Jason. Hopefully he's on his way back stateside at this point. Obviously with all the stuff coming up in Vegas, but I'll reach out to him and we should try to get him on the show. If not next week, then the week after. But I would love to hear his thoughts, and also, of course, just give him the congrats on the big short deck win there.
Yeah, I mean, just a cool 3.6 million US for a 100 player tournament. That's all.
Man, where do these guys get all this money?
I don't know.
I'm trying to I feel really poor when you're like, oh, it's like 2K, 4K, like, oh, they're like standard opening, or like talking 55K here. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, okay, nobody cares about my sad life. All right, let's keep going. Let's keep going. Okay, so. What else? Phil Ivey is coming to the World Series this year to play.
Yeah, Phil Ivey reiterated his plans. I mean, he told PokerNews last week that he was planning on playing at the World Series of Poker. Now, we don't know if that just means the one drop or if he's going to play 40 events and have his bracelet bets like he did back in the day. That's obviously the most appealing scenario. But again, he said that he will be in Las Vegas in the summer. We don't know how many tournaments he's going to play. He's mentioned recently that he wants to dive back into the tournament scene, so we'll probably see him in at least a couple of the high rollers. Remember, the World Series has a 100K to effectively start their summer. They have the main event, of course. They have a couple 50Ks thrown into the mix. And then the summer effectively closes with the $1 million World Series of Poker one drop. So you have to wonder if Ivey is going to play in that. So Ivey said he's coming. And then Patrick Antonious is another guy, one of those, maybe a blast from the past, quote unquote, but a guy who's made quite the comeback in the last year. He says he's more of a maybe for this summer. He's got some tax issues to deal with, so it doesn't make the trip to Vegas as appealing for him, which I think, Sarah, is kind of unfortunate for us because he's been crushing it over this last
and he has a house in Vegas.
And he's got a house in Vegas.
Just come
and
to your
he
house.
comes here, he's got friends here, he plays tennis here, all that good stuff. I mean, come on, jump into the mix, at least play a couple tournaments. Do it for the fans, right?
Yeah, at least you got to play that Millie or like some of those like high rollers. It's like, man, it's so good to see him out there playing those high rollers. And he comes, like, I've been to a couple 888 events and stuff recently where he'll come play like a 5K Euro buy-in or, you know, he's such a like cool cucumber. I feel like he'll play kind of whatever and just keep it real. I think he just really likes Barcelona, if I'm honest. But he shouldn't be having no tax issues because I think he has a house in Monte Carlo. Isn't there some sort of like blanket? You don't have to pay taxes if you live in Monte Carlo. I want to move there.
I'm not quite sure about Mr. Antonius's tax issues.
Mac Verdestang, help us out because I also have this. I have a tax problem too. Yeah. I don't have any money and I owe taxes, so help me.
That's not a good combination.
Oh, and the NSA is probably listening and like the IRS is probably coming to our house now.
The IRS is greatly concerned.
Great. Well, I'll be depressed if he doesn't come to the WSOP, but I do want to throw out there, if he doesn't, fine, but at least he could be playing online when he comes to America again because of globalpoker.com. Have you registered for the Global Poker Championships Rattlesnake Open yet? With $1.25 million in guaranteed cash prizes, a $100,000 guarantee main event, as well as huge trophies delivered right to your door, and other awesome giveaways you do not want to miss out. Top the Global Poker Championships leaderboard, and Global Poker will sort travel, accommodations, tournament buy-ins for you to represent Global Poker in a live tournament. What are you waiting for? Head to globalpoker.com and register for the Rattlesnake Open today. I'm getting a little, I did something right. Oh, there we go. Somehow I made my outline really small and I was like, well, I'm never going to be able to read what we're doing again, but I'm back, guys. Don't worry.
She's back.
Yeah. Okay. So we, of course, have talked a lot already about John Hess. He was just on one of our partner podcasts in the PokerNews network on Top Pair. I pretty much adore John Hess, and in case you haven't seen it, I did a piece sort of on his life story. I got all these old pictures of him, and he talks about growing up and, you know, starting a business when he was like 4 years old using a tram. It took us a long time to figure out what the word for that was, but yeah, he's just like such a fun, cool, awesome guy who loves poker, and apparently the San Francisco Chronicle wrote a feature on him. He'd be the only one getting in that mainstream world, right?
This is that mainstream interest that we strive for, and that was the dream last summer when John Hess made the final table and ESPN was broadcasting it live. Everybody was like, this is probably really, really good for poker to have such a colorful and unique character thrown into the mix. I mean, his typical tournament buy-in, and Sarah, you've gone over this a million times before, it's like 10 pounds, like $15 and some rebuys, of course. He finished fourth in the main event for $2.6 million, and he was so much fun to watch. He was a blast. You know, a lot of poker players, Sarah, I feel like are in such great moods when they have a lot of chips and they're really talkative, and you're like, oh, this is what a great guy here. And then when they get very low on chips, they're like, no, maybe not as much fun to be around. But John Hess, through the ups and the downs, was just so much fun to watch. So I'm glad that he not only achieved that kind of notoriety last summer, but it's carrying through into this summer. Yeah. Case in point, the San Francisco Chronicle writing an article about him. It'll be great to see him back. He's still he hasn't changed. I look at his Hendon Mom, and his first cash after the main was 7th in that 10 pounds plus rebuys tournament for €200 after he just cashed for 2.6 mil.
So glad
that's John Hess,
too.
right?
Like, how do they keep track of this shit? I don't know, but good for them somehow.
Yeah,
no, I love it. I love him. And actually, I think at some point we should do a little bit of a show, maybe sometime, right as the series is kicking off. We can talk a little bit about some of our WSOP predictions. And
Yep.
PokerNews did some WSOP predictions themselves. I did some, and just looking forward to, hoping for, what are we looking for out of this year's main event final table? Does it change it to have the one drop at the end of the main event? Like this, I think every year they're always trying new things. They're always mixing it up, and it's like an experiment in real life just to see what's working and what doesn't work. And for the most part, I think what the WSOP does work. It does make sense. And
yeah, I think so too. And props to them for continuing to tweak it, because it'd be very easy for them to just keep the schedule the same since 2005 and just run it back and run it back and run it back.
For sure.
But they're taking notes on what other tournament series are doing. If other tournaments are incorporating a big blind ante, the World Series of Poker is willing to look at it and throw that into 7 to 8 events. If other tournament series are having the main event in the middle of their festival instead of the end, World Series of Poker is willing to look at that, and then they're going to go ahead and do the same thing this summer. So they're continuing to adapt and evolve with the game, which I think is great for both players and fans.
I love it. Well, we were talking a little bit about, who some of our favorite people are. Obviously, John Hess, who we hope to see. One of my favorite Las Vegans, and also one of my favorite poker players of all time. It's got to be Scotty Nguyen, baby.
Yeah.
And we didn't tell you guys yet. We didn't tease it. I did a video with Scotty a couple of weeks ago. He's involved in a company called Kryptonia Poker. Also, in fact, I noticed Phil Ivey is involved with Virtue Poker. I think this partnership between crypto and poker seems pretty certain, and there's a lot of sites sort of emerging and a lot of players getting involved in them. So I wanted to talk to Scotty about Kryptonia, and it turned into this amazing interview about like how to be a good human being, how to be a good husband, things he's learned coming up as a, busboy in Las Vegas back in the day. And it's a fantastic interview. So you guys definitely don't want to miss it. Welcome to the show, Scotty Nguyen. Hello, everybody. I am so excited. We are joined by the one and only Scotty Nguyen, baby. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, baby.
Absolutely.
What's going on?
I'm telling you, this is just such a pleasure. I feel like I haven't interviewed you since I think my first year in poker. So we're talking maybe 2011 or something.
Okay.
And we didn't have a lot of time. So I'm really excited to kind of get into things now. I guess what I really want to start, I kind of want to start in the beginning and then move our timeline forward till we get to Kryptonia Poker, some of the exciting things going on in your life presently. But maybe for those of our viewers who don't know everything about Scotty Nguyen, talk to us a little bit about your story and kind of, being in Vegas in the old days. Like, what did Vegas used to be like as we get ready to embark on the 2018 WSOP?
Baby, let's see. The old Vegas, when I get here, Vegas, baby, is like they got almost nothing. Everywhere we go, we have to walk across the field to get, to where I work or casino, and it just, this town is crazy. Now it's crazy, and now everything is like neon light and palm tree, But I always loved Vegas. It don't matter how they change it. But Vegas is just like the place to be, baby.
I hear that. Well, talk to us a little. I know that, you didn't come as a professional poker player. You didn't start as a professional poker player, but you were dealing, right? Talk to us a little bit about coming up in the game and trying to find games and play.
I was, let's see, my first job started out was busboy.
Oh.
Okay. Table. That's a lot of people didn't know about that, but, you want me to share now, I'm share everything about Scotty. Anything you guys ask, I will share, to my fans out there, baby, you cannot hide from them, sooner or later gotta come out, So, and, busboy, baby, I work very hard, and, I run into the poker manager while I be at the busboy, and I serve him dinner, so And he told me he's poker manager. So I asked him, when I turn 21, can you give me a job? He says, you don't have to ask, automatic, because I'm that good with people, They all love me there, baby. They say, Scotty, you got no worry. Soon you turn 21, you come to me. And then he go, oh, one more thing. You have to go poker dealer school. And I say, and how much is it gonna cost? He go like $350. 20, 30 years ago, $350 with me, baby. I'm busboy. If I get lucky, I walk home with $2 in tips. Okay, each of every night. All right. And he go $350. I say, oh man, I don't know how long I can save that money. And there's anyway, And he go, I tell you what, I'm gonna put up the money for you to go to school for 9 weeks. Okay, and then you bring the paper, graduate, come to me, but I'm gonna put up the money. He did, baby.
I love that.
And then, when you go poker dealer school, it's like total 9 to 12 weeks, right? To be okay, to have a job, And when I go there in 2 weeks, the how you say, the one teaching you, the teacher, he says, Scotty, come here for a minute. Come in my office. So okay, I come in his office. He go, how about you teaching now? Yeah, I was that smooth, baby. In 2 weeks, I learned everything. Is so good, he could not believe it. He said, I'm offering you a job. You don't have to pay for school. We can't even. Plus, I offer you a job and pay on top of it. Teach my student. I'm that good, baby.
I'm like, so everyone's trying to give you money. Like, I need to get on the Scotty Nguyen train.
I know. They give me money. I could not believe it. So he gave me a job. Just come in around 10 o'clock teaching. So I quit busboy job.
But did you then go back to the poker room manager and work at the poker room also?
Oh, he know about that. He go, no. In like 3 days, he called his buddy. The teacher, the school teacher is his best friend. So he called him and go like, no. He gonna work for me. I got no time for you. So I stopped, working for him and become poker dealer for him at Holiday Casino, which is long times ago. The Harris now is the Holiday Casino the old day. That's how I started.
Man,
everything good there.
That's so wild. So talk to us. I mean, people are always talking about, the high stakes scene used to be this and then this. And, I think there's just always talk about comparing. Talk to us a little bit about what you've seen in the way that poker has changed, over the last 20, 30 years.
One word, baby. Grown, baby. I mean, poker, there's no stopping, in poker. You know why? Because poker, they give people a chance. It don't matter. How old are you? Or ugly, pretty, handsome, whatever, heavy, light, it don't matter. As long as you have the mind, you can play. Poker gives you a chance to become somebody, So, which is, I'm the living proof, baby. But I came here, I don't even know what English is. Not even one single word, And, I did not go high school in Vietnam when I come here. So, I learned everything is right here, Everybody can start out somewhere, it's like, but the main thing is how you carry yourself, how bad you want it, thing in life. And that's what I did, baby, because I want it, when I walk on the street home every night after work, I always walk on Las Vegas Boulevard, Lots of girls, the old day, baby. Oh my God, girls just like flower. They are everywhere. All kind, baby, all flavor, The neon light and then limousine. He go, first time I ever see the limousine, baby. The guy walk out I mean, somebody opened the door, the guy walking out, here come Phil Blonde, I said, oh man, one day I'm going to top that. I'm going to top that shit. I'm going to walk out with 5 girls, not 2.
That's my boy. That's my boy. That's why you belong in Vegas, baby.
That's right.
So talk to us then, I'm sure most of our listeners and viewers know your story, but I for one find it super fascinating. So talk to us, you're dealing school, you start kind of working at the Holiday, and then how do you manage to sort of get a bankroll together and get something together to start playing?
Baby, let's see. This is good stories too. Let's see. I work from 2 in the morning to 10 o'clock in the morning. I work graveyard, so this way is easy for, and the manager on my ship, he loved me like his son, so he called me son. I call him daddy because I come here. My dad is back home. So, people, they treat me good. He tell me, why don't you just, I call you son, you call me daddy. I said, you get it, daddy. And he loved me till then. And then, he had to begging me to come to work. How many people out there, I mean, like employee and the boss have to begging you, okay, come to work. I have no phone, no car, no nothing, all right? My studio is right behind Holiday Casino, okay? All I have to do is walk in 5-10 minutes, I'm there, right? I have no bed, sleep on the floor, TV, studio, $100 a month, but I'm happy as can be. It's the place clean. I mean, clean mean I have nothing in there. Everything's clean. No money, no nothing, And, it's like some night I get up late, like 3-4 o'clock in the morning, somebody knock on the door, say, oh, open the door. Here come my boss. What are you doing? You're supposed to be there at 2 o'clock. He come and they did not give me one slip or nothing. I mean, like, they come and get me. And I have to dress in the car, okay? I come to work.
Happens. If that happens, the boss is like, you're fired, bro.
No. Baby, I go to work. I'm telling you, I'm serious. One day, no sock in one leg, black sock on the other one. One day, white sock, one day, black sock. I was so free. I free from Vietnam, and come here. I used to live with sponsors, they give me $5 a week, to spend, and now I'm like, I can do whatever, except buy a car, except, make yourself big and dream something, so, but at that time I didn't dream nothing. I just want to enjoy to be 21, everybody loved me, just like, I'm nobody, but everybody loved me, baby. From busboy, all my friends, and waiter, waitresses. I mean, everybody. It's just they set up the path for me to walk. Everybody say good things, Scotty. Oh, one waiter, right? I hated him. Okay, I want to kill him every night, right? I work so hard for that guy, baby. He stiff me goddamn every night, right? But baby, but he turned around, he the one that built me up to Scotty Nguyen today. Yes. I mean, I hated him. He hate my guts because I'm Vietnamese or something. At that time, maybe something like that, So he hated me. But and then turned around about after 6-7 months, I be a bus boy and I walk downstairs to take break. I hear people talking. I hear he's talking to somebody. You go, man, something about Scotty. It's like that boy. I'm telling you, it's just the way he is. He worked for me, and I feel like I'm work for him. Even I'm sleep him every night, but he don't even care. It's like, oh, this is a little money or something. I'm telling you, he can be big. Just like that. And I hear it. From that on, baby, it's just like, what else can I do to come back to show him what he think about me gonna come true, because I want it, that's how everything started. I want this, I want that. So I start dealing and learning, and playing, losing, learning, go home, rewind everything on my head. I can't even sleep. Just like soon I lay down, baby, I rewind every hand I deal, okay? Every hand I play, and I was so good, it's just, and everything. You can ask me next day, you remember at that time, remember that hand? I will tell you just like that, And then
that seeing so many hands, like being able to deal and play, that being able to see so many hands, that you're able to get a lot more insight, say, than people who have to be playing in order to be getting those hands in?
No, baby, at that time, it don't matter how good you are, right? I mean, you cannot learn from the hand, you dealt, okay? You learn from how people betting, how people, they represent themselves at the table, like they sit straight, that means confident and winner, People like dropping down like loser, baby. So you learn all that. So you correct yourself and then you want to be on the other side, then that's what I want. I want to be on the other side. Because every day at that time, all I ever heard, Mr. Doy Brunson, Johnny Chain, Stu Unger, baby, it's like David Baxter, Perky Pearson. I mean, it's like over and over and over. And then, I'm like sleep one night. I say, I'm going to go down to the Golden Nugget where they have the tournament, so I can watch those guys. That's the first time I ever watched Mr. Roy Brunson and Johnny James and all them guys, especially Stu Unger, that's my favorite. And that's my idol there, He's just like all that to me. I say, Unger, baby, one day I'm going to stop you, baby, When I start know them guy, I don't know them guy. I just, come in and watch them, and I thought to myself, Stu, one day, baby, I'm going to play head up with you. I'm going to knock you out, baby. So, just dream, and like I say, how bad you want it. It's, baby, and plus you have gift from God, give you that talent, You learn some little in poker, and then you turn the little you learn into the bigger things and bigger poker, and from that, make it bigger, make yourself a name, and then live forever. That name, baby, I can gone tomorrow. My name, always here. People will remember who Scotty Nguyen is, baby, the Prince of Poker, baby.
Oh my gosh, I love it. It's so true. Now, for you, obviously you've been in the poker scene for a long time. You've been really active in all kinds of different projects and stuff, which I want to get more into. But talk to me a little bit about, I think for us, Qui Nguyen was quite the crowd favorite and such a huge winner a couple years ago. And as, a fellow Vietnamese, a fellow Las Vegan, was that a cool experience for you to see him ship the main event? You can be honest here, it's fine.
Yes. Baby, let's see. I'm happy for him. That's for sure, because he came from my country, especially carries the same last name,
Yeah.
And it just, what? I don't want to talk about him, on.
He's like, I'll be honest with you guys, but listen, pump the brakes over there, lady. I see what's going on.
So you guys, think about what you think, because I have nothing bad to say to people,
Yeah, fair.
When I want to say something, gotta be good. Other than that, I don't say it. You know what I mean? Even little angle here, little angle there, I still don't want to say it. You know what I mean?
I can appreciate that. I could use that tacked here
Yeah,
and there.
a lot of people
occasionally.
could use that, I think.
So talk to me a little bit about, I want to talk about Kryptonia. This article just came out on PokerNews that I want to get into. I just read the white paper. I think this has a lot of potential and really exciting. But before we get into that, let's talk just a little bit about what's life like for you right now? What's a day in the life of Scotty Nguyen?
Look at this, baby. You know, okay, this is my daily day, okay? And this is why I enjoy the most. It's up every day. The past 2-3 years, you know? And I start getting into be around my family more, you know, before I missed that, you know? I did not, you know, I want people out there to remember you can never not appreciate your wife and your kid, you know, and because sometimes they be around you, they right there, but you don't see them. It's not like you don't see them. You know what I mean, you know, you like just walk by on the phone, talk to buddy, you know, business, you know, deal with that. So, and I miss all that with all my kids, you know, and I didn't do things with them. I didn't sit down and teach them, you know, word, you know, and do some spell. I miss all that. There were so many years, and I didn't appreciate my wife and kid, you know. Now, look back, you get older. Poker, I always have a love for it. So poker is never end, you know, never end for me. And the same thing with my marriage. I don't want it to end, you know, baby. And to order to do that, the man got to become like you dating again, you know, no matter how long you marry, you know. I tap her butt to shit, you know, damn, baby, you know.
True. We want to be appreciated no matter what. Yeah.
That's right. You know, I play with her and, you know, make her laugh, you know. So now we get so close to each other, you know, everywhere we go, we do things together. My daily, met them lunch, breakfast, dinner. I don't mind, baby, you know, I get up for that. Because what I do right now, I'm telling you what, that's everything I want to do more. You know, I walk with them. I go to the park and I park with them. You know, plus I want to train my mind to be totally clear, happy, going to the World Series 2018. You know, baby, I don't want no more negative. You know, don't hate anybody you hate. You dislike, make it disappear. You know, and you start loving and playing, caring, you know, when little baby, small, young children run around, play around here, I make sure my freezer in the garage, baby, there is none of the kind ice cream they like I don't have. I make
What do
sure
you want, baby? Scotty's got it.
You want something, you come down, Uncle Scotty, baby. So, you know, that is my life. I sit back and, you know, try to relax as much I can be. For the World Series this year, you know, it's coming up. You know, it's right around the corner, baby. I gotta get ready, just like you guys gotta get ready for us, baby. You guys gonna be busy, just like us.
It's coming every summer, and I think that's a really beautiful thing. I think it's an interesting thing. You know, especially a lot of men, they spend a lot of their, you know, middle years providing for their families, building a life for their families, focused on their careers for their families, but then they wake up at some point and realize, but I didn't even get to see my family or be with them or spend time with them. So I think that's a beautiful lesson. And, you know, obviously since Black Friday, there's been, you know, less action, at least available online in the poker world. And I think we've been having a lot of this, or at least I have, you know, I have this nostalgic sense of like, if we could just go back to this time, this would happen. But something really cool that's happening is that I, for one, am super engaged in the sort of crypto world and the crypto market. And I think that it is giving us something where we don't have to look back anymore. I hope we can look forward. And when I saw that you were signed with Kryptonia Poker, and actually it looks like they're signing some of the biggest names in the game, I wanted to talk to you about it as someone who comes from the oldest of the old school, you know, working your way up from busboy to champion. Tell me a little bit about you know, what you see for Kryptonia and how you are involved.
Baby, I tell you the truth. I don't know much about poker yet because it's just the new thing just coming out, and right now I'm trying to learn more about Victoria poker, and soon I know about that. I will let you guys know. So what I know now, just like the same way I talking to you guys, there's nothing hidden there. So whatever I know, you guys know already. Soon I know some more. I promise you, baby, you're the first to know. All you guys will know.
I love it. Well, we will, of course, be hassling you all World Series long to get all the facts. And do you kind of have an idea of what you think you're going to play this summer?
You know what? One more thing. I want to talk to you about Kryptonia poker, okay?
Yeah.
Just like the good thing online for people to learn to play and is everything new come out. It's always fun to try to play, and because technology this day you never know what you get, So okay, baby, next. What's your question now?
It's true. And really, I mean, I don't know how much people know about, I think a lot of our audience is involved in crypto and a lot of them aren't. But for those who don't know, this is going to be using blockchain technology in order to help facilitate the security on the site. They're going to be using different algorithms and also blockchain-based shufflers, random shuffle, what is it called? Random number generators to create random shuffles, which then are verifiable because of the blockchain. And then also, of course, the coolest part of using this kind of technology is that your transfers happen automatically between parties. So it's the same as like why everybody thinks crypto is awesome. It's eliminating having to have, financial institutions and banks and escrow and all this stuff, which actually is what essentially took online poker away from us in the first place. So I mean, I think it has the potential to be really cool, and they're building a super cool team, of which Scotty obviously is a big part. So we'll keep you guys updated. I think July is when they're hoping to have their first tournament, but right now it's the pre-ICO, so that is why. It's not, you can't actually play on it yet. We're not there yet, but the pre-ICO is starting right now, and we'll catch up, of course, with you, Scotty, this summer to get more details as things go on. But tell us a little bit about what you have planned for the summer. What does a normal Scotty WSOP schedule look like?
Hi, baby. Let's see. Last year, the year before that, I always do almost the same. I think that is my mistake. Baby. You cannot play a same game each of every year and you haven't do well in, No, so now the main thing, you have to make poker fun. Okay. So now I'm going to try to make it fun. So I'm going to switch things. Whatever I don't play last year, I'm going to play this year, like, the very first one, $10,000 buy-in, super turbo, Yeah, that's it, so, which is, that's the new thing. So I want to play. It's not just because fun I play, because I know I'm capable, I can win it, so that's my goal. The first one got taken down, baby. I mean, and then everything gonna be set up for Scotty Nguyen from there, so just,
I would love to see you ship a couple of bracelets this summer, Scotty. That would be so sick.
Get it, baby. Gotta be sick, huh?
Let's get it. We need some more jewelry. Like, get some more jewels over here.
Yeah, Scotty need bling bling, baby.
Yeah.
Well, I so appreciate you.
My schedule is that, and then I play. I want to be the only man to win. The main event champion to win like classes, millionaire maker, it's something. That's what all poker players want. They want to achieve something, not just playing and bring home the money and bacon, and then they want to be bigger beside money. They want to make themselves a name, history, just like Scotty Nguyen does, baby. So. It's going to be fun this summer, A lot of game I don't play, I want to play now. You know, I want to play and have fun with it. Not like last couple of years, I come in anger. You know, it's like you want it so bad, and every little thing people are out there, you get angry. You know, I'm not Scotty Nguyen anymore, and I hated it. And the only people can see my mistake is my wife, see, and my best buddy, right, Carol. I mean, this guy, baby, he's like a brother to me. You know, he's my partner. You know, he helped me out on, you know, he's just like, I owe him my life, you know, and he's just like that. He is wonderful, you know, and I want him to know, baby, this year, time to Scotty taking care back, baby. I like to give it. I like to give. I don't like to take, you know, baby. I don't want to own anybody, but nothing, you know. I want to take care of it, you know, and, move to Oklahoma, baby. My wife, she always want to go to Oklahoma, and that's where she growing up. And you know, and I told her, you know, honey, you got it. After summer, we moved to Oklahoma. We always can look for a house here. So let's see.
Hang out. I just moved from Los Angeles to Texas because I forced my husband, so we can be these, you know, country kids together.
Come over. You guys just come over. Bring the kid, baby.
He's got the ice cream. He's got the kind of ice cream I want.
Yeah, it's got any kind of ice cream.
Anything. You bring your kid to my house, baby. There is nothing they don't have. From game to candy.
Well,
Sugar
Scotty,
high.
I really appreciate you taking the time. You guys, of course, can catch Scotty. His Twitter is the Scotty Nguyen. We'll be catching up with him a bunch of times over the summer, of course. And as this Kryptonia Poker project evolves, we will be there every step of the way, giving you the coverage and, of course, bringing Scotty on for more. I can only imagine going through this episode and finding all the little gems in there. There's so many nuggets. It seems like you're in a great place, Scotty, and I hope that I'll just see you up there, you know, doing that winner interview when you get your bracelet. The first one. First winner interview of the summer.
That's due, you know, and you know, you guys the one is made me feel like I'm all that, you know, the fan made me feel like I'm all that, you know, and that's why I love about poker, you know, you walk in there and you can see the love from the fans, you know, you can see through their eyes, you know, baby. That's what I love the most, especially people fly all over the country, like, oh my God, we fly here, want to see you, you know, it's just like, you
and
know.
they all want to see the OGs. They all want to see the OGs. I love these young internet kids, but I'm telling you, the fans who come to the World Series, they want to see Scotty. They want to see the Mike Matisows. They want to see the people they know.
That's right. That's right, baby. We make it fun, especially, you know, my Matisows too. You know, he is loud, but he's harmless. He make it fun. He make people laugh almost eat up every day. See, people, they don't see that.
I love Mike. I think
people love him more than hated him. Okay? I'm telling you, people love him more than hated him because every day there is not even one day he come out, he made people not laughing. I mean, you know, baby, that's him.
And love is a lot closer to hate than indifference, that's for sure. Like the two, if they love you, they hate you. That's a fine line for sure. But
yes, baby. You see one thing about me and other poker player, you know what, baby? If you hate somebody, they say hated you, right? See one thing about me, people hate me, but they find themselves. If they hate, you know, they find themselves in the hate, it's more love. So they turn around, they love Scotty Nguyen, you know, baby. And then
you can't not.
Oh, one more thing. This is funny. You want to hear, baby?
Of course.
If you ever sleep and dream to beating me, you better wake up and apologize. Okay, baby?
You better give your wife a big wet kiss from Auntie Chardonnay over here. Let her know. Yeah. Let her know we love her too.
Oh no, you didn't know what I'm trying to say, baby?
No, I do.
Okay, like in poker, when we go out head up, okay, and we have to come back next day to play. if my opponent dream to knock me out, to take the bracelet away from me, he better wake up and apologize middle of the night. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Prince of Poker, you better let him know. But you give all your grandbabies and you give your wife a big wet kiss from us. And we just so appreciate you. And we will talk to you soon. Enjoy your day.
You got it, baby. Thank you to have me.
All right. It is just, I love to have conversations with people where they just get real really quick. Like I bet there's so many stories he's told a million times and he could just, every time be, blah, okay, blah, blah, blah. This is my standard answer. This is my whatever. But I feel like he was just super real and super, okay. Sometimes people disappoint. Scotty Nguyen does not disappoint. He did not.
No, he does not. No, he does. I mean, he's willing to admit that he's made some mistakes.
Yeah.
In his life. And then he tries to teach us what he's learned from those mistakes. And that's exactly what he expressed to you in that interview. Here's what I did wrong. Here's how I tried to fix it. Here's my advice to everybody listening and who has experienced maybe similar scenarios. So I think he's great. He's very genuine. He was very honest.
It's amazing because my mom, she of course loves my work and she listens to a lot of the things I do and watches it, but she's not a huge fan of poker itself. And she, as soon as this interview went out, she messaged me like, "Oh, I just love that Scotty Nguyen." He's just so,
he's a character.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what I'm always all about it. Of course I respect and I really admire and appreciate so many of these new young guns who are just brilliant minds in the game. And they're just, next level humans in some way. They're all, busy with meditating and but there's just something so attractive to me about these characters who are just flawed, but overcome, and everyone already knows I'm crazy obsessed. But as a Texas boy, and also as I feel really connected to this story that we've been talking about for the last 3 weeks or so, this Texas card house shooting. So we had Haslett House Poker on, who they're in Haslett, Texas, and it's just this house full of poker players that are supporting each other and working together. And we had just had them on the show, and they were talking about these card rooms in Texas, which I didn't even know. I mean, I'd heard some, because there's some questionable, is it legal, is it not? They shut down these card rooms in Dallas. And basically the gist, I think, for those who don't understand, these card rooms, you pay, a monthly fee, basically, like a membership. And then you also pay per hour when you're there. Mm-hmm. And as a result, they don't have to take a rake, which is actually the illegal part for the most part of running, gambling places. So these card rooms have started to emerge. People in Texas love poker just like everybody else, and they've been wanting to play poker. But recently in Austin, there was a shooting, and it was actually 3Bet Panda, one of the closest people in this Haslett House Poker community, which just seemed so wild. Just, it's there's these moments that just hit kind of close to home. And there's been some updates. I know you're a very seasoned reporter, Jeff, so let's talk a little bit about some of the things that have come up, that these evolutions in the story.
Yeah, sure. Well, Austin Police Department held a press conference. They've been investigating this, what I guess is technically an aggravated robbery because it involved a gunshot and a victim and a robbery, et cetera. So they've been investigating it for a good 3 weeks or so. And they did make 2 arrests. One of the arrests, the guy was working as a security guard for that Texas card house where the robbery and the shooting happened right afterwards. So there was that quote unquote inside man on the job. He alerted his friend. His friend came when he knew that a couple of people would be leaving with decent sums of money. I mean, you guys talked about this before with these card houses. There are some fairly big games that develop. So some people are walking out of there with, in the range of $5,000 to $15,000 each. Yeah. And that's no chump change. So this was very appealing for these robbers, these criminals to strike. It didn't get through because the Austin Police Department finally caught these guys. Again, there's an inside man on the case. He was a contracted employee of the establishment. He was working with his friend. He texted his friend when those guys were about to leave. His friend showed up with the gun, and then the I guess robbery gone wrong took place. So again, 3Bet Panda is doing much better after suffering that gunshot wound. So everything's starting to pull through in the right direction. And then, Sarah, this really puts all the other card houses on notice that they have to enhance their security, that they have to go above and beyond when it comes to protecting their players, because if they don't, then the government is going to start to get in the mix, and they're going to shut these places down pretty quickly.
I mean, but it's wild. Even, I told this story when we had His and Her poker on. I can't remember if we were actually live when I told it or not, but that one of my friends at the Venetian, she was almost kidnapped and had her car stolen when she was leaving from the poker room. It's like, I think there's always going to be shady characters. There's always going to be, lazy people who don't want to, work themselves. And I mean, to me, the craziest thing is like, I think we got to get 3Bet Panda on and figure out, why did they shoot you? Like, I think that seems like a not EV. If you're just trying to do some kind of a robbery type situation, and actually, well, everyone knows I'm obsessed with murder shows, but if you murder someone in the commission of another felony, you can get the death penalty. And in Texas, you will get the death penalty.
In Texas, you will for sure. No question about it.
It just seems crazy. Like, how did it escalate from like, okay, we're going to rob someone? I mean, we got to get 3Bet. I'll reach out to 3Bet Panda also and try to get him on the show. But the names have been released. It's on PokerNews.com. The names of the guys who've been arrested are out there. And I mean, just thank you, Jesus, that he's okay. It's really crazy.
Exactly.
And I don't know what you do to, I mean, it's like, how do you protect people?
It's tough. It's a good wake up call to poker players also, that just in this spot, these guys were walking out with a group. They were just screwed no matter what happened.
Yeah.
But as a poker player, you can take certain precautions. When you walk in a dark parking lot, don't be stuck texting on your phone.
Right.
Be alert. Be alert with how you carry your money around when you do have to carry large sums of money. Yeah. Don't make anything too obvious, and just be on the lookout for potentially threatening situations. And you never have to just like leave at a certain moment. If you see something suspicious going on, casinos are always willing to offer security guards for escorts to your cars. Just take every precaution you can. Like, why not?
Yeah. And trust that intuition. It's funny. I was just, I was rewatching Jason Mercier's Pokerography yesterday, and even he's talking about, in San Remo basically getting jumped after his, I think it was maybe his first or second big win. I can't remember, but he said, like, I saw these guys and they were like looking a little sketchy and things. And I've read several books, The Gift of Fear, Left of Bang. Like, if you have a weird intuition inside, you have a weird feeling something's sketchy, just trust it. Like, what do you got to lose, right? It's like, maybe you don't want to get in that elevator because it's like you just got a bad feeling. Take the next one. I don't know why.
It's not going to kill you. Wasting 30 seconds is not going to hurt you in any way. Greg Raymer was jumped at the Bellagio, like on a floor of one of the nicest hotel casinos in Las Vegas. And he fought those guys off. I think he went absolutely berserko.
Stop.
He went insane and
Raymer
fought them
went
off.
ham on the robbers?
Yeah, he went ham on the – this was like back in the day, and he had a bunch of money, and he was coming up on an elevator with a couple of shady characters, and they got off the floor with him, and they tried to jump him and steal his money, and he just went nuts and fought him off, and they're like, this guy's too much to deal with, and they just bounced without any of his money.
That is so crazy, but it is
we're not advising that you should fight off all robbers, by the way, but that's what Greg Raymer did.
You shouldn't, but it's important to know that it's like, it feels like this, Texas card room thing is like, it's like a little bit old westy or something and dangerous, but my friend, it was at the Venetian. Greg Raymer, it's at the Bellagio. I have another friend who had a situation at the Aria. It's like, I mean, and I'm not trying to throw any shade on any of these places. It's just the reality is there's just bad, scary, crazy people out there sometimes, and you got to check yourself. Speaking of the Aria, though, in the good news, we're going to have Sam Simmons on next week, and they in fact, we talked, I think, last week a little bit about the opening of this studio, the Poker Central studio in the Aria, which looks fantastic. I've already seen it like a zillion pictures. It looks super cool. I think they're gonna stream this WPT final table from there. Am I right? This Bobby.
I think the WPT final tables are going to be at the Esports Arena at the Luxor.
So
but
fancy.
The Super High Roller Bowl will serve as a good kickoff of sorts for that Poker Go studio at the Aria that you mentioned.
I love the Super High Roller Ball. I vote for it whenever it's up for like what's the best tournament of the year. I love the whole setup. I love the whole idea that it's very like bougie and VIP, and you know, of course I love anything that's just live streamed the whole time. And so again, it's kind of the same. They've capped it at 48 players. Mm-hmm. You're my Poker Go guy, so like give me the whole lowdown. What's going on?
Well, here's the breakdown then. Yeah, they've capped it at 48 players. All 48 players are set. It's a $300,000 buy-in. So that creates a $14.4 million prize pool. No rake is taken out of the prize pool.
Good, because those guys need to save that money.
That is true. That is true.
Those guys might have tax problems they need to figure out. So.
And so this is $5 million to first place. First place out of just 48 players wins a cool $5 million. And this, Sarah, of course, is just an absolutely stacked field, as you might imagine. It's Adrian Mateos, it's Brandon Adams, it's Brian Rast, Eric Seidel, Negreanu, Helmuth, Jason Koon. Just the real killers of today's game are in this one. So it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. I mean, this is true poker. Like, if you want to watch poker at an advanced level, we were talking about Jason Koon against Kane Callis heads up in a cash game pot and the levels that they were going through in their thought process. Check out the Super High Roller Bowl, because just to guess, you will be very entertained.
I got to talk to, this is after as long as I've been in poker, it's relatively rare, I would say, that I come across someone, especially in a field like this, that I don't know or recognize. But it happens every year, every time at the Super High Roller Bowl, every time at the, one drop, at least. Even I think it's happened a couple times at the PCA Super High Rollers. Periodically, I stumble upon someone and I have to ask myself, who is this person? How did this person get here? How did they get all this money? And, what do they know about poker? And when I was looking over the list of all the people coming in, there's two names that I don't think I recognize, and I'm sure you'll know way better than me. But who is Keith Hillston?
So Keith Hillston, I feel like, has really come onto the scene just within the last maybe year or so. He had a really good United States Poker Open. He had a good run at the Party Poker events in Barcelona. He was at a couple of the high roller final tables there. To me, at least, he shot up out of nowhere last year. He doesn't consider himself a professional poker player. I think he's in the finance world and just plays poker because he enjoys it, but he's come up the ranks pretty quickly, and I think he has a little bit more of a unique style. So he's a lot of fun to watch because he plays just a little bit differently, and I think it creates an enjoyable atmosphere for any
sure.
viewers.
And it's even like, they made the whole documentary with Matt Berkey when he came into the Super High Roller Bowl that first year, and just having, these different sort of unconventional styles mixed with like these businessmen who also probably have a slightly unconventional style. And then, these German sickos mixed with these old school guys. Like, it's really, and that's why I always say it's one of my favorite events, because I think they really do just a fantastic job curating the people who are playing, which of course that's our whole entertainment. And then there was another one, which I feel like I've seen this guy before somewhere, but Matt Hyman, who it says that he has like maybe 2 million in winnings or something. And I'm like, but like 300K if you have 2 million in winnings is like, what else do you do? Because that's a big part of your bankroll.
So he's another guy that I've seen really pop up just within the last year or so, just because of his final tables at a Poker Masters event and a US Poker Open event also. So maybe he's kind of new to the high roller scene overall. Just like a lot of these guys are. It's not like the whole 48 player field, just like you were talking about, Sarah, is experienced in playing these super high rollers. In a vacuum, the high roller circuit is relatively new. I mean, we've seen it become incredibly popular over the last couple of years. But again, that's just the last couple of years. That's just maybe 2-3 years where they've really shot up out of the cannon. So not all of these players are going to have an incredible amount of experience playing in these high roller tournaments.
But there's some of these guys that are the same 50 high rollers we see all over the world that aren't in the field. So I don't know. It's just interesting. I think it's going to be interesting. And obviously, Tony G is my favorite. So good to see him. But I was also surprised to see, and I was wondering if this had to do with a little bit of the drama and controversy, which I want to say was last year, with, why is this happening? I can see his face. Leon Sukernick. Mm-hmm. I noticed he's not in the field. And I remember there was this like Justin Bonomo, Leon Sukernick thing, and it was all the rage of the beginning of the World Series last year. So I was wondering if he was like deciding not to for certain reasons, or if maybe the Super High Roller Bowl staff was like, we think we'll just like leave that out of the mix this time.
So it's interesting that you mentioned that, because there's, and I don't know the exact breakdown of this, how they decide the 48-player field, but I know it consists of a couple of different parts. Those being, number one, there's a lottery system. Mm-hmm. So everybody who wants to play in this tournament, they deposit $30,000. They get entered into a lottery, and a lottery picks X amount of people. But then, like you said, the ARIA, the Super High Roller Bowl staff, however you want to phrase that group, gets to select players from this Y group. So again, everybody who's put down that deposit is eligible to play, is eligible to be selected. Yeah. And then the Z group, since I'll go along with this X, Y, and Z format, the ARIA left a couple of seats open for satellite winners. So you could make the jump from, I don't know what it is, maybe a $7,500 satellite to a $50K satellite to having a seat in the ARIA Super High Roller Bowl. So there's always going to be a little bit of conspiracy talk. Why was this guy picked and why wasn't this guy picked? And I don't know, but it is interesting that you mentioned that. There was a lot of buzz about Stefan Sontheimer originally not being picked because he had won the Poker Masters last year. So you would think he's an appealing pick for an ARIA event.
Like snap, get him.
Yeah, he's just just on top of your list because why not? They didn't have him in the original field. It took Andrew Roble dropping out to put in Stefan Sontheimer into the mix.
Man, that's interesting. Did Andrew say why he dropped out?
No, I don't think we got a reason on why Andrew was out of this. So is Tony G your pick? Who's your pick? Who are you going with in the Super High Roller Bowl? This is huge.
Oh my gosh. Tony G is not my pick, but he will be my pick for like the most fun probably. Yeah. Or he's one of my favorites. I don't know. Let me look at the list. Who's your pick? You've obviously you've got to have someone.
Yeah,
Let's pick like your top, 3 to 5 or something, right? You can't just pick one.
So that's true, but I will just pick a top guy for now. That will be Jake Schindler, just because the guy crushes everything and he wins high rollers. He's very comfortable at ARIA. He's just a boss. He's a stone cold killer. We talk about playing differently, and I think Schindler plays a little differently as well. He's used to playing with these high rollers. He's used to playing with these sick Germans. So he's my guy. As far as a who to look out for list, I don't think you can ever go wrong when you have Nick Petrangelo on your list, one of the greatest tournament players in the game. And I don't think you can go wrong when you have old DP, David Peters, who again is very comfortable in Las Vegas, very comfortable at the ARIA, very comfortable within this high roller format. So it's definitely a tournament that I'm absolutely looking forward to. The level of play will be off the charts. But Jake Schindler's my guy. He's my pick to ship this one.
Yeah, I feel like I was there only for a day or two last year, and I remember he went deep in this event last year, I think, or maybe it was the year before, but I'm pretty sure it was last year.
Yeah, he finished second, I believe.
And then I remember interviewing him when he won his very first big kind of high roller at the PCA, and he's definitely evolved quite a lot since then, both as a player, I think, and also as a person. But yeah, I love him. I think, it's lame to always go with the guys that are like really hot right now, but I think Bryn Kenny's really hot right now. He went deep in this. I love when his grandma comes. I hope his grandma comes to support him. That would be great. Jason Koon, obviously, I think he's been at the top of his game for a while now, but periodically he eludes the major titles. He won a high roller in the PCA, not this year, but the year before. He just won this, I think, basically at the Triton. Those are some of the best minds in poker, of course, and so him shipping that, he's doing well. I mean, Justin Bonomo, does he ever not win something? Like, I feel like he wins
a great point.
Everything. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting because when you look at this field, Steven Chidwick, he's a sicko. I have him on my WSOP predictions as for sure winning a bracelet this year, and probably as one of the young guns that also plays mixed games exceptionally well. I think he was my pick for, if not player of the year, something along those lines. I mean, Sergio Ado, he also wins things all the time. I don't know. It's interesting, but I do think it's always like when it comes to these type of fields, anything can happen. I love Dan Shack. There's some people too I'd just like to see do it.
Yeah, you just like them personally, so you're rooting for them. You're hoping that they do. I think that was the case last year. Remember when Kevin Hart was in this tournament? So, we all know that Kevin Hart is not even close to the level of these players, but he's the most entertaining by a mile, and we knew he'd be so good for poker. So I think it was just natural for the majority of the audience to be rooting a guy like him on. So it makes sense that.
Wasn't it a great kind of final table last year? I want to say there was like a Phil Hellmuth type. There was like a couple of Germans. There was like a Bryn Kinney. Like, I felt like there was a really kind of balanced and interesting. It might not even been the final table, but at least as they got deeper and deeper.
I mean, the final table was huge. It consisted of Jason Koon, of Justin Bonomo, of Byron Kaverman, of your boy Leon Sukernick. Schindler finished second, like we mentioned, and Christoph Vogelsang won it. So, I mean, it was an absolutely stacked. It's going to be an incredible final table. I think Daniel Negreanu always says about this tournament, and he's obviously another guy to look out for, by the way, because he's really taken it upon himself to study and study and study, because he admitted a little while back that he wasn't up to the level of the Germans effectively. He wasn't up to that top level of high roller tournament professional. So he's taken it upon himself to just dive in, and he's all over the place, and he's trying to get to their level. And I think he's at their level now. But he was saying that if you're winning the Super High Roller Bowl, it's not because you got lucky. It's not that kind of tournament.
Yeah.
The cream of the crop does rise, and it certainly will here.
Ugh, I can't wait. Well, I know Poker Go has all kinds of great stuff planned for the summer. We're going to talk to Sam Simmons next week about the schedule, the streaming, what you guys can expect from the WSOP. Jeff's also going to be working for them sometimes, so we'll get all the juicy inside gossip. And in the meantime, if you guys are bored, if you're in America, if you're looking to play some poker and you're looking to avoid the sharks, just want to get in there, test your skills, try some. Definitely check out globalpoker.com. With $1.25 million in guaranteed cash prizes, including $100,000 for the main event, you don't want to miss the Global Poker Championships Rattlesnake Open. Head to globalpoker.com and enter today. Now, I know you guys love our podcast, but please don't forget to check out the network of podcasts.
Hey there, it's Evan Jarvis, host of All In, the poker podcast where we go all the way with poker champions past, present, and future. Get to know the whole story behind their success. Find out what the secret ingredients are that really lead to greatness, so that one day you too can call yourself a poker champion.
Well, that's it for us today. Don't forget to check us out next week. Of course, I'm heading to Barcelona. Jeff's going to be at the WPT event this week. Then we will meet up in Las Vegas in the City of Sin for everyone's favorite tournament, the longest running and most prestigious tournament series in the world, the World Series of Poker. My name is Sarah Herring. This is Jeff Platt. If you're watching. If not, don't worry. And don't forget to hit us up on the Instagrams, the Twitter, and all that, either at PokerNews, at Jeff Platt, at Anti-Chardonnay. Let us know who we should have on for our guests. We're going to amp up the Poker News coverage of the podcast during the World Series. We're going to be doing at least 2 a week, hopefully more, both video and audio. Jeff's going to be all up in the field doing vlogs. It's going to get crazy, but in the meantime, we'll catch you guys on the flip. Deuces.